Welcome everybody. As Alex said, I'm Simon Freethy. I'm Managing Director here at Cyrus. Thank you for coming to this press briefing on the Cyrus One cast, which is the latest addition to our Cyrus One range of products. So my aim today is to round off your week with something that will amaze and surprise you, and most importantly, enable you to go back to your editorial teams and say, I've got something and I want a prime spot. And I should be able to do that because you are witnessing the launch of a world first. And why is it a world first? Well, it is the first HiFi streaming amplifier which is voice compatible not only with Google Voice Assist and with Apple Siri, but also with Amazon Alexa. So all three of the major home automation platforms this product will work with. So it really is a sort of a crossover product because it's combining true hi-fi performance with smart speaker usability. So groundbreaking, and you didn't have to go all the way to CES to witness it. So before I delve into the details on the One cast, for those of you who are not familiar with the brand, let me give you a quick 2-minute update on what Cyrus is and what we do. So Cyrus makes high performance, compact, sustainable hi-fi. So let me just explain a little bit what I mean on each of those. High performance, well, as you know, listening to music is an emotional experience. So if you have a system that can reveal the fine nuances and details of that music, you can invoke a much more intense emotional response in the listener, and that makes that whole experience much more fulfilling. To achieve this, you need well-engineered products with high-quality components in and a good R&D team to be able to put those together. And we have all of that, and so we are able to make products that do give customers that emotional wow factor. What do I mean by compact? A lot of hi-fi manufacturers would have you believe that bigger is better, and bigger certainly does enable you to dissipate more heat. Being the cynic that I am, I reckon that actually there's a bit of kidology going on here, because as human beings, we automatically associate big with expensive. So if they make things bigger, they might be able to squeeze a few extra dollars out of your wallet to buy their product. But unfortunately, most of us live in the real world where space in the home is at a premium, and the room we listen to music in probably doubles up as something else, like a living room or a study or something. So what if you could have that high-end performance but in a small box that was living room friendly? And that's what Cyrus delivers. So we pack all of that high performance technology into products that are very much room friendly and sit within today's modern living environments. And what do I mean by sustainable? Well, Cyrus products are built to last. So we still have customers using the original Cyrus One, which is a product that we launched over 35 years ago. How do we know that? Because we can and we still do service those products when they come back to the factory. Our core range of products is modular. So when customers buy into that range, that system can grow over time with them. As new features become available, they can buy new boxes to add those features. You don't have to discard your existing products to be able to tap into those. Hand in hand with sustainability, though, is power efficiency. And that's why Cyrus has spent significant resource developing its hybrid Class D amplifier platform. And that is the platform that sits inside the One cast. And that's giving you high levels of sonic performance, but at a fraction of the power consumption of a classic AB design. And I'll talk more about why that's an important thing a bit later. So we're doing our bit to prevent the planet from getting over polluted. We're also British, very proud of our British heritage. The majority of our products still made in the UK. We're based just outside Cambridge, which is nice because that gives us a big pool of talented engineers to recruit from. So that is Cyrus, high performance, compact, sustainable hi-fi, And we're pretty good at it, as some of you know, because you've given us these awards, but we win a lot of awards for our products. We are able to produce small packages that have that consumer wow factor when people listen to them. Anyway, that's enough about Cyrus. Let me talk a bit more about the one cast. But in fact, to kick this off, there's a short video that we've done which I think gives you an overview. I believe it's a really exciting time for the audio industry, with some major shifts happening in our market. On the one hand, there's a large audience of existing audiophiles, and on the other, there's a whole new generation of consumers who have discovered the convenience of the smart speaker, and they're using that as their primary source of audio. They are interested enough in music to realise that even the best smart speakers are compromised in performance and do not do justice to the music. The Cyrus One Cast is a world first. It's the first serious hi-fi amplifier to be compatible with voice control from Google and Alexa Amazon and an Apple HomePod. This product is all about bringing together the fast-moving world of consumer electronics with that emotional connection to the music that you only get with high-end hi-fi. The One Cast is the most fully featured in the One Series range. It leads with its inbuilt streaming platform and voice control capability. It has a range of digital inputs, optical, coaxial and USB, which gives it DSD capability. There is an HDMI input, which is compatible with any HDMI ARC television. So that enables you to control the volume of the unit from your TV remote. And lastly, there are the traditional analog inputs. So there's a phono stage for those of you who are into your vinyl, and one of the inputs is configurable into a fixed gain for integration into an AV system. Somebody should have told that guy in the video to get his hair cut, don't you think, beforehand? So yeah, the One Cast, as I said, it's the third in our range of One Series consumer-focused products. And let me just take you through a little bit of the history. So back in 2016, we wanted to launch a range of consumer-focused products that really captured the heart and the essence of what the Cyrus brand was, you know, taking us back to our core roots, and that's developing products that are hugely versatile, so have immense amounts of functionality, simple to use, you know, really, really easy to use, and yet at the same time still sound incredible, sound really amazing. So back in 2016, we launched the first one, which was the Cyrus One, and really the development of this hybrid Class D amplifier platform was the key enabler for us to start this sequence of products. So it's a unique piece of Cyrus technology. We've been working on it for about 7 years now, and this is the 4th generation that's sitting inside this product. And what it does is it takes effectively the sonic performance of a Class AB platform and combines it with the power efficiency of a Class D platform. So we get the benefits of both of those worlds. So it's very, very thermally efficient. And why is that an advantage? Well, it means that we're creating high performance electronics, but in a very low operating temperature environment. And that has a couple of advantages. Firstly, it makes the products last longer because sensitive electronics tend to wear out more quickly in those higher temperatures. And secondly, it enables us to put a whole host of other electronics in the same box. So if you think about a streaming Wi-Fi chip that's having to work pretty hard to hum through the network, they can get quite hot. If you want to stick that in the same box as some heat-spewing Class AB amplifier, that's going to be pretty much a recipe for disaster, especially if you're trying to make something small and compact as we do. So really, you know, if you want to put a lot of complex electronics in a single box, you have to do it on an amplifier platform that is low heat and operates at a lower temperature. Speaker impedance detection, again, that's really part of that whole Class D hybrid platform process. So what that does is every time you turn the amplifier on, it sends out a signal to the speakers and measures the impedance of the speaker. Or actually, it measures the impedance of that speaker cable combination. So it's measuring the load that it's looking at. And then it makes some fine adjustments inside the amplifier to make sure that the amplifier is tuned to work perfectly with that particular speaker. So again, it gives you a much greater breadth of speakers that the amplifier can work with. Linear power supply, so all of the Cyrus One products have a huge grey toroidal transformer in them. And again, I can talk for hours on the benefits of good power supplies on the performance of high-end hi-fi, but trust me, it's essential. So, we had to have that fantastic linear power supply in there. And then we also put a very high-performance headphone amp in. So the headphone market has grown substantially. A lot of consumers now are spending significant amounts of money on headphones, and they use them as their primary listening source. So we wanted to have something that really would make that investment pay back for the consumer. And we've achieved that really because that big toroidal transformer, when you plug the headphone amp in, all of that power gets switched to the headphone amp section. So you've got effectively what is a standalone headphone amplifier built into the same box. In terms of inputs, we had analog, AV direct, which is a feature across all Cyrus amplifiers. So you've got one input which you can configure to be a fixed gain. So you can integrate your amplifier into an existing AV system and use the Cyrus One to drive the front, left and right channels, which gives you a big upgrade in performance to an AV system. A phono stage, which I'll talk about a bit more, and a Bluetooth input as the base level of streaming. So the natural upgrade, or the natural evolution from that, was to add a DAC, and that's what we did in the Cyrus One HD. So we added in a high resolution 32-bit DAC, which gave us 32192 and DSD 128. And we introduced a USB asynchronous input. So again, you're sitting there and it will plug straight into your laptop, and your laptop will see that as a sound card, plus some coax and digital inputs. And then the final step on our planned progression was to add complete home automation and streaming integration. And that's what we've done with the OneCast. So as I've said, the OneCast features voice control compatibility with all three of the major platforms. It also has Chromecast audio built in. So that means it will work seamlessly with any streaming or music playing app which is cast compatible. And that includes Tidal, Qobuz, Spotify, BBC Sounds, Roon. All of the major apps that people will use are all cast compatible, and that list is growing all the time. It also comes with Apple AirPlay 2, so anyone who's in the Apple environment, again, that will seamlessly work with all their devices. And when we introduce these new products, we always like to try and think of some bonus features to add, and HDMI ARC is one of those. So we haven't had that on any of our previous products, but it does, and as I will demonstrate, enable the amplifier to work seamlessly with the TV. So it acts like a soundbar, so it can be used instead of a soundbar. That kind of opens again it up to a new audience, because you can attract customers who might be looking at a soundbar, but actually now they can have that same convenience and buy something that will sound vastly superior to that. So this is the unit here. I think there was supposed to be a black cloth over it, but as most people have seen the picture, I don't think we bothered with that. So as you can see, it's very much part of the Cyrus One family. For those of you who've seen the other products, it's very similarly designed. The switch on the front here is a standby, so can you see there's a red LED on at the moment, so it's in standby, and it just comes out of standby by pressing that front button. That light sequence you've just done, that is the speaker impedance detection sequence in action, so it does it every time you bring the unit out of standby. It's an auto switch off, so it will shut itself down if you don't use it for 20 minutes. And you can wake it up from standby remotely. So, and I'll show you that as well. So when you're casting or voice controlling to it, if it's off, it's still available or visible on the network, so you can see it and it springs back into life. Let me demonstrate to you then, I talked about this HDMI input, and let me demonstrate how this works. So I've got another unit over here hooked up to the TV. So if I pick up the TV remote, so this is the TV remote, and I just go and switch the TV on, you'll see that the OneCast will also spring into life. So again, it's done its SID sequence and it's come on. And I'm just going to play a short video that we've got on here, which is a Muse concert. And you'll notice that I can then control the volume of that with the TV remote. So again, watch the LED lights on the OneCast. So again, what you have here is that simplicity and ease of use that you get with the soundbar. Everything's been done by the TV. I haven't picked up any other remote control, but something that's obviously giving you a massive step up in performance level, and also a whole load of extra functionality. It's also pretty compact. I mean, if you had a soundbar, you'd have some big thing sitting underneath your TV. This you can put anywhere. It runs very coolly, as I've said. It's a very low operating environment, so you can stick it in a cupboard if you need to, and make it disappear. Obviously, you need speakers, but these speakers can go anywhere in the room. So they're much more aesthetically friendly. They can match the aesthetics of the room depending on what you choose. So a big upgrade and a potential alternative to anyone looking at a soundbar. And again, if I turn that off, the unit turns off as well. Yeah, remote. So the OneCast ships with an IR remote, which again has enabled us to add one of these little bonus features that I was talking about. So hands up, or who doesn't like it when guests come into their house and start fiddling with their HiFi? Or in particular, who doesn't like it when you've got some kind of party going on and one of the guests is pushing that volume up, that's pushing your speakers just a little bit more than you'd like, and probably a lot more than your neighbours would like as well. So we've got a control lock feature that we've built onto here, which is quite neat. So all you have to do is just give a long press on the standby key, and then it'll go into a little light sequence. And now if I press OK, I've locked these. So they'll just flash twice, the input or the volume, to tell me that I can't control it. They're set and they're locked. And again, if I want to get out of that, I just do it again in the sequence. Then I get this light sequence in reverse. I hit OK, and I've now got volume control and input control back. Neat little feature. It actually was an idea that came from one of our student interns who was using one of the original ones at a party back in his digs. So it just goes to show, whoever you are, if you've got a good idea at Cyrus, it will make it into one of the products. So we quite like that. Now, I'm saying that this is shipping with an IR remote, and previous versions of the One haven't shipped with a remote. They've shipped with a Bluetooth control app, but there is no app for this OneCast, and that's a deliberately conscious decision. In fact, it was part of the critical design process of it. We wanted to design a product that did not have an app. Why? You think, well, why is that? Everyone else got apps. And I think that's the point. When you look at most of the other manufacturers' streaming products have a manufacturer's app of some description. And without casting too many aspersions, 99% of them are less than perfect. And that's probably being polite. So why would you want to do that? Because on the other hand, the streaming apps that everyone's using, the Tidals, the Spotifys, the Apple Musics, the Qobuzzes of this world, those apps are brilliant. And those apps are brilliant because those companies spend an awful lot of money and R&D engineering making those apps work really well, because that is the product that they're selling. That is the thing that's bringing the consumer in. So why would you want to take the consumer out of that environment and add extra steps? So what we've done is we deliberately designed this app to work from within all of those streaming apps. So from within Tidal, from within Spotify. So you don't have to jump out. You don't have to break out of that personalized music space that you've created. You can just sit in there, choose your music, and then throw it at the OneCast. So very, very simple to use. Are we losing anything by not having a manufacturer's app? We don't think so, because from within the apps you can still control input selection from within within Tidal or Spotify. It selects the input automatically. Volume control can also be done within those apps. Those commands go through automatically, and the music selection is the streaming service. It's not us. So we think it's what we try to do is to really make it simple to use. So we're trying to make products that are versatile, does an awful lot of things, really, really easy to use, and still maintain that sound quality. So what I'm going to do now is demonstrate exactly some of that, and demonstrate some of these cast features. And I'm going to do that by plugging my phone into my laptop and putting that on the screen. So you can go. Let's right, we should be up and running. So you can see what I'm doing here, so you can just kind of see. I'll give a live demo and see how easy it is. I'm first of all going to show you, so this is my phone, look, it's left to right, that's me. I'm just going to show you the Google Home app, because the Google Home app is the app that you use to set up the units in the first place. And I've set up a number of units here. So there's a device called Bedroom, which is the one that's sitting over there next to that little desk with a turntable on it. I've got Kitchen, which is over there, and Living Room, which is this one at the front. So the OneCast has Chromecast built in. So what does that mean? It works with all of these streaming service apps that are cast enabled. So as I was saying, Spotify, Tidal, Qobuz, Roon, BBC Sounds. So let me just demonstrate Spotify, because that's the biggest selling app on the planet. Actually, let's just let's go back to Home so you can see it from the start. Home, there you go. So this is recently played. I mean, is everybody familiar with Spotify? You've used it before. I mean, it's a lovely app, isn't it? I mean, it changes all the time, and there are some things on here. So I have no idea what your heavy rotation means, but it's engaging. It's pushing music to you. It's educating you. It's being really, really clever. But it also has a your library section where you can store and choose all your favorite bits. So if I was there and I was saying, right, okay, I want to play this track from here. So now this is now playing on my phone, but I now want to play it on my OneCast. So I just hit that button on the bottom left, and I select the zone that I want. I connect with Living Room speaker. And now what's this doing is it's telling the unit to go out and search the music. It's pulling it down from the cloud, and now it's playing directly through the OneCast. That's Spotify. Let me just show you Tidal. Again, let's go back to Home so you can see that from the top. I don't know how many of you use Tidal. I actually prefer it to Spotify because it's everything's in CD quality, so you've got higher res tracks. I actually like the user interface. It's slightly less cluttered. You get scrolling through all sorts of things, suggested new tracks, suggested new albums. You also get this mixes for you, which is quite good if slightly creepy feature, because it tracks what you're listening to and suggests new things. But yeah, it's great. So we don't want to go outside of this. So if I go to my collection, I've got some various playlists that I use, and let me just play you a bit of this. So again, very similar. Bottom left-hand corner, hit on the button, select the zone that you want, and again, it's going out to the cloud, so the phone is telling the cast to go and grab that information from the Tidal server, so it's pulling it down directly. Okay, so I've been in my lounge listening to that, and I've been drinking a lovely chilled glass of Chardonnay, but unfortunately it's empty. I've finished it. I now need to go into the kitchen where I've got this lovely wine sitting in the fridge, but I don't want to stop listening to my music. That's not a problem, because all I simply do is go in here, select the zone. If you go and look at the kitchen, you notice it switched itself off, but if I select it now, it will come out of standby, and it will play some fantastic music in the kitchen. So same track playing again. But I've just heard the doorbell ring. So our next door neighbours, Annie and Dave, coming over. They always pop over sometimes on a Friday when they're a bit bored, want a party. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, right, okay, let's change the mood a bit. Let's put something a bit more up tempo on. Yeah, that's Donald Fagen, like that track. And there's lots of people around now, so I kind of I want to play that around the whole house. So I've just selected this zone which I've set up, which is everywhere. And again, the units will just go off and grab that, and you should have Donald Fagen. Oh, if I actually hit play, that would help. Playing in all the zones of the house. So have you got that over there in your kitchen? Have you got that in the bedroom here? Over there? Yeah. In the bedroom. Yeah. So you can hear it. It's playing everywhere. Annie, Dave, yeah, come in. Yeah. Yes, Donald Fagen. Yeah, I really like him. It's one of my favourites. Playing all around the house. So I've done all of that, notice, without ever leaving the Tidal app. Okay, everything I've done has been inside that Tidal app. I've never had to come out of that environment, which is my streaming app of choice. It's got all of my songs, it's my zone, it's my world that I've created. Not had to leave it. Simple, easy to use. What happens if I'm an Apple fanatic? So, I mean, Apple is the second biggest streaming service on the planet behind Spotify, and people in the Apple environment tend to be in their own world. Not a problem. So Apple wouldn't dare to do things like Cast, because that's created by Google. But they do have their own AirPlay, and the OneCast has AirPlay built in. So again, this is the Apple's music app, its own music app, and again you just select what you want. This is album by Sting, which I really like. So this is now playing on here. You see down the bottom you've got that little AirPlay symbol. You pick it up and there you've got all your zones to choose from. So I just select living room, and that again will now route that audio signal into the living room. So that's AirPlay, and you can see those zones are up there. That's from the AirPlay menu. You can select multiple ones of those and run multi-room in AirPlay. That's a new feature of AirPlay too, which again is quite handy. So that's Apple AirPlay, and again, you know, as designed with Apple, you've done all that without leaving the Apple environment, and that's what Apple's all about. So making sure our device is compatible with that philosophy is a big plus again. So ease of use. There is also a Bluetooth input. I'm not going to demonstrate that at this particular juncture. It works pretty much in the same way as any Bluetooth input. You pair a device, it sees it, etc., etc.